All right. Last video we were back. This video we are back. Time to review the off season after the 2024 season. You know, what do we call it? The 2024 off season? 24-25? The 25 off season? Anyways, it's February 2025. As you can see, we've realigned the league. We had two expansion teams come in. El Paso and Nashville are in. Nashville is Oklahoma City, but I moved them to Nashville, named them after the state reptile in Tennessee, the box turtles. I left the El Paso Crunch alone. So we'll go over these divisions quickly, but I'll just say shout out to William for suggesting this idea, aligning it a bit like the NHL with the Metro and the Atlantic and the Central and the Pacific. Pretty much any way you tweak this, there's going to be a team or two that's like, they'd fit better with this group, but then you'd move this team and they'd be out of place. So, you know, there's no way to do it perfectly. And if you want like more of my thought process on it, I did do that in the off-season video, which is a 3.5-hour video. I'd also like to plug one charity thing that's important to me. If you'll just give me 60 seconds to talk about it, and then we'll get into this. In the description of this video is a link to a charity event to support Parkinson's research. I'll be playing in it. It's at Top Golf. It's like a golf event. I don't golf, but I'm doing it because my mom has Parkinson's. This is her event that her and my dad organized. The amount of time they put into organizing this event to like 12 different locations throughout the U.S. It's an incredible effort that they put into it. And it's a cause that's important to me, obviously my family. So the link is in the description of the video. If you have $10, you can go and donate to me to help me reach my goal, or $10,000, whatever you have, $1. I would really appreciate it. And if you do the $10 or more, I'll give you access to that off-season video where I go over this and I go through all my trades. It's a 3.5-hour video, so it's really in-depth me playing the game. So yeah, I'd really appreciate it if you could, if you are able to donate, again, $1, $10, $10,000, whatever. Click the link in the description of the video. That would be really much appreciated. So these are the I'm sure you've had time looking at the screen to look at the teams. I'm not going to read them all to you. Fun fact, did you know El Paso is further west than Colorado? So El Paso is going to be in the Pacific. Colorado is in the Central. We've moved to the NL. It doesn't really matter because we've got the DH everywhere. But we'll be in with both Chicago teams, Colorado, Houston, Minnesota, St. Louis, and Texas. Now, how does the postseason work, you might ask? The 4 division winners get a bye. Second place in each division get in, and then 2 more wild cards from each league. So like, you know, say these were actually the standings, like Boston and Baltimore are in, Atlanta and Cincinnati, Chicago and Chicago, Arizona and LA. And then from the NL, the next 2 best among the divisions will be a wild card, and same thing with the AL. So there's 4 buys, and the first round it's just like MLB is set up now. There's buys, and then the rest of the teams that don't win their division, they play in a best of 3 that's all home for the top seed. And then we go into 5-round division series, 7-round championship series, 7-round World Series, 7-game, I should say. So that's how that's going to work. Let's go to the off season. Let's look at what the Royals did. By the way, at some point in this video, another video is going to start playing in the background. It's the 3.5-hour video on the off season. I'm going to have to go and pause it real quick because it's exporting, and it's going to finish at some point and start auto playing. All right. So what did we do? I'll show you the moves, and then we'll look at the roster in context of the roster. We're just short of spring training here. So we made some minor league trades, just guys who are like out of options, nothing big, just brought in some minor league depth. Those moves don't matter too much. We lost Ryan Kreidler to the Crunch in the expansion draft. Not a big loss. I'm okay with it. He's 27. Travis Swaggerty, 27 years old. Great outfield range, but I had other guys who can do this work, do his job. So not the end of the world. And so then we went on to December, and this is when we started making some moves. We did part with Eloy Jimenez. Just didn't work out for him in Kansas City. You know, 1,012 plate appearances, exactly league average OPS plus. We can get this production elsewhere for cheaper. And he also wasn't good defensively. It just just didn't work out. I was excited when we traded for him, but we basically just went for a prospect for him and got a really good one in Max Meyer. Probably not as good here as he is in real life. He's gotten really roughed up at the major league level. You can see last year he had a 6.93 ERA in 97 innings. Now, Sierra suggests maybe he's better than that, a 3.89. FIP is at 5.51, but the ERA and FIP were both well worse than league average. So we'll see. I don't know that he'll be on the team to start, but I think he's a great arm to put in AAA and hope that he can find that next level. So that's what we did with Eloy, and we had to retain 10%. So we then went and got Austin Hayes to be our new left fielder, and the Orioles retained 95. I fleeced the Orioles in this trade, okay? I know it. You know it. We all know it. I have the trade difficulty, I think, one below hardest, and they still accepted it. So Hayes, he's not going to block anybody from playing. And I have some younger outfielders. By younger, I mean like they're all like 24, 25, 26, but that are going to be pushing for playing time. But I didn't want them to be plan A. But Hayes, if he doesn't play well enough, he can go on the bench. Like, it's not like we'd be benching Eloy, and I'd feel weird about that. So he can play a really good defensive left field. He's been fine enough in the 3 seasons. He had one really good season. He's a line drive hitter, spray hitter. I'm hoping maybe that'll work out well for him in a big ballpark. So he's a right-handed bat. We needed a right-handed bat because we're very lefty heavy. So we got Austin Hayes, and they were, for some reason, Baltimore was just sick of DL Hall. Of course, in real life, this would never happen, but maybe in 2025 it will. Maybe the O's will be over him. He hasn't really done much at the major league level. Only 49 innings last year out of the bullpen. His ERA and FIP have been really good, but they clearly did not see him as a starting pitcher in the major league level. They hadn't given him any time as a starter across the 3 seasons. So my scout disagrees with that. My scout thinks he can definitely be a starter. Walks might be the only issue. I think he'll probably start the year in my bullpen. We'll get to all that, but plus stuff. Great fastball and curveball, good enough changeup, and the movement and control will work, and he throws 99. So we'll take a chance on that arm. So we gave up. They were really into Luis Patino, man. Like, most teams were not at all interested. Now, I should say OSA is a little higher on Patino than my scout, and Patino has had like a 2.4 WAR and a 4 R WAR season. Like, he's only 2 years removed from that, but he was just miserable last year, and he walked 7.4 guys per 9 in 55 innings. His AAA numbers were also bad. My scout thought his control plummeted, but the Orioles, I think the Orioles clearly believe they can get him back to that 4 WAR pitcher with the way that they valued him in this trade. So we traded Luis Patino, who is also out of minor league options, and then Matt Cronin, who we had claimed on waivers, and looks like a really good lefty reliever. He's going to pitch out of the Orioles bullpen, I'm sure. So that was the deal that we got. And then we went and added another right-handed power bat. Nick Castellanos was on the trade block. He's going to play first base for us. So let's go ahead and just set your position to first, Nick. And this is a fairly low-risk deal for us because we're only paying him $4 million per year. The Reds are paying the rest. So if he sucks, which I don't think he will, like, he's been a good hitter. His fielding has brought down his WAR, but I think at first base he's not going to be as much of a drain. He could also DH, but we needed a right-handed bat for like the top/middle of our order, and I think Castellanos clearly fits that bill. And he does push some young guys down a notch on the depth chart that I was planning to give a chance to. But, we're in the thick of a window where we can be really competitive, so I wanted to beef up the roster with an established player instead of giving a young player a chance. So the headliner that we gave up was Hayden Wisneski, who is a starting pitcher who was very coveted around the league in trade negotiations. He pitched 64 innings for us last year and put up a 2.38 ERA. Is really good. 60 innings in AAA, a 2.69 ERA, which is nice. So he's, we got him from the Yankees. He looks like a legitimate major league starting pitcher. The Reds were really into him. That's why they were willing to eat so much of the Castellanos deal. And Castellanos is still a good player. And then they wanted this guy, Almanzar, Sure, whatever. And then Brandon Markland, who's a major league worthy reliever, but was not likely in our plans for this year. So let's see. That is December. And then January, we signed Sonny Gray to a 1-year, $5.1 million deal. Put up 2.2 WAR with a 4.17 ERA last year in Kansas City. He will be like our 4th or 5th starter. We traded Lloyd L. Chappelle Jr. to the Padres. He's a 23-year-old left-hand hitting outfielder who looks like a decent player, and he's hit very well in AAA, a 123 WRC plus last year at just the age of 22. But we basically had too much high minors depth in the outfield and not enough in the infield. Chappelle was not the guy I really wanted to give up, but he was really the only one with any kind of decent trade value. So we got Brooks Lee was the main piece we got back. Who they had drafted in the first round, 15th overall. Real life was 8th overall. I think the Twins in 2022 in real life. He hasn't hit great since 2023 high A. Last year he was around league average if you look at OPS plus, but he's got really good range at 65, so he can play second base for you. He could fill in at shortstop. He could fake it at third base too, and he can play the corner outfield too at the 55 range. So I see him basically as a potential super utility guy, and hoping we can tap into his potential with the bat and get him to be even better. Don't love that he's a ground ball hitter, but I think this really helps our minor league depth, especially at second base, with that being a question mark for us at the major league level, which we'll get to. Then the Vinny Pasquantino era has ended. Sad to say. It was just time, man, especially once we signed Castellanos. I mean, this is what he's done for us. Look at this. He's had 597 plate appearances and has an 81 WRC plus. Now, he was down in AAA some last year, and he absolutely ripped it up. But it was just time. It saddens me as someone who's on the Vinny P Italian breakfast bandwagon in real life. Had him in a dynasty league since like last year, I think, in real life. Big fan of him. It hurt me to do it. But this is another thing where we got a high minors infield prospect. This one is Cade Dowdy, who the Giants had drafted 30th overall back in 2022. And he hasn't made it above high A yet, but he made it to high A for most of 2023, and then 2024 got off to a really great start. And then got hurt with a ruptured disc in his back and missed the rest of the season. But hoping we can tap into this high work ethic. He's a captain. He can play a decent enough second base if you need him to. We can get him some left field and right field experience. He's not going to be superb anywhere with the glove, but certainly another utility guy who could possibly be an everyday player if his bat comes along. So the Vinny P era is over. Sorry, everybody. So that's the end of basically the moves we made. So where does that leave us? Not a lot has changed here. Melendez is the starting catcher coming off just a freaking remarkable 2024. We put up 5.8 WAR and a 142 WRC plus. Castellanos at first. Lofton, we'll see what happens, man. He was miserable last year. He had a good rookie campaign for us in 2023 with 108 WRC plus in 83 games, 1.6 WAR in those 83 games, and then was negative WAR in 82 games last year, was option in the minors, was really good there, came back up and was just a beast for us in the playoffs and won MVP of the division series. So it's his job to lose, but he'll lose it really easily. Bobby Witt, Nicky Lopez complete the infield. Hayes, Mondesi, Ohtani is the outfield. Devers are going to bounce back from his negative 0.3 WAR year last year. The bench is to be determined. We'll get to that after spring training, but those guys are coming in with the starting jobs. Pitching side of things, we've got Ohtani, Singer, Lacey, Gray, and then Alec Marsh. I thought was going to be in a competition for like this fifth starter role, but I think it's his to lose at this point because goodness, according to my scout, he took a major step forward this year, this offseason. His overall went from 45 to 60, potential went from 45 to 65, added a cutter, velocity went from 96 to 98 to 97 to 99. His stamina did drop from 45 to 40, but rating, control went from 50 to 55, movement went from 45 to 55, stuff went from 50 to 65. Yeah, dudes, this is the good stuff here. Hopefully my scout is right. OSA, maybe they just haven't run a new scouting report on him yet. I don't know. Their last one wasn't since last year. So maybe that's why they haven't updated it. But yeah, where is that cutter? Oh, the cutter's an average pitcher. He's got 5 pitches. So yeah, it's his job to lose at this point with what he's showing, my scout has seen from him in the offseason. Bullpen side of things, Will Klein will be back as the stopper. This guy's a beast. We love him. He's a legend. Luke Murphy will be back. This has got to be one of the legends of the sim here. Minor league free agent signing in April of 2022, and then look at this, what he was then. We took a chance on his movement, but he didn't have much control. He's like a 30 out of 35. He was throwing 95 to 97. The stuff was average. Now he's got an 80 stuff. Control's up to 55. Velocity's up to 99. Could he be the best reliever in baseball? I think he could be. The 30 stamina. He came up last year, and his ERA was 5.01, but his FIP and SIERA were both around 2.4 in just 23 innings. But he was ridiculously good in 39 innings of AAA, putting up 2 WAR in 39 innings with a 1.15 ERA. So if I'm buying a jersey for this team, it's a Suriel jersey, a number 4 Suriel jersey, and he's an extreme ground baller too. Like, teammates don't always appreciate his candor. He's outspoken, but he's got low work ethic. But dude, if you're quote unquote loafing and you're doing this, hey man, go for it. Angel Zerpa, Jorge Juan is another awesome young arm that should be fun to watch develop. Could be a starter. This control was iffy. Christopher Sanchez, a legend of like every sim that I do here. He had a great season for us in 81 innings. He'll be out of the bullpen. And then we've got a bunch of guys who will compete for spots, Max Mayer being one of them. And so we did also have to bring in a new manager because my manager retired. And we brought in this guy who was my ACL. That's Arizona, right? That's the Arizona League. Isn't that what ACL is? Where is that? Arizona Complex League. Yeah, so he's jumping from the Arizona Complex League to the majors with a poor reputation. Now, why in the world would I do that? Because, man, nobody would take my offers. None of the managers I wanted to come work for me. And so I just basically boiled it down to, okay, he's got average development. Cool. Where's the other thing I was looking for? Oh, handles aging, decent. So that was okay. But really, I just focused on the relationships. And anybody else in my system or anybody else that was willing to come coach, manage, that was a free agent, had so many poor relationships with my player. I love that this guy didn't have any poor relationships. Most of them are average or above, and he's got a ton of excellent relationships. So I leaned heavily into the relationships and just went with this guy. It might not work out. We might fire him a few games in. Not a few games in. But he's now managing the major league team for $50,000 per year. So that's kind of where we're at. We'll go over player development and all that once we get through spring training. I'm going to sim spring training, then come back and give you the season preview here in a second. We'll go over this farm system that'll hopefully still have 3 of the top 5 prospects in baseball. And let's all cross our fingers for no injuries here in spring training. All right, so we're up at opening day, which is on April 7th, 2025. With the realigned league, the Mets, of course, predicted to be AL Metro Division winners, and the Braves projected to be the AL Atlantic Division winners. Now, over here in the National League, the Kansas City Royals are predicted to win 89 games, which is 7 games behind the Cardinals. This would qualify us for the postseason, of course, because first and second from both divisions make it in. You can see the power's pretty low, expected to be almost second lowest home run total to everybody but the Cubs, who are only supposed to win 63 games. ERA is supposed to be very good, but looks like they are predicting our offense to not be great. They also don't have any of our players in the top hitters or pitchers, so I guess there's no love for Bobby Witt or MJ Melendez out here. Hey, all right, it's fine. Got a chip on our shoulder now. So we did make it through spring with only 1 injury. The bad news is that injury is to our number 1 starter / best hitter, starting right fielder, Shohei Ohtani. He's out for 2 to 3 more months with a torn tricep. Certainly less than ideal. Certainly less than ideal. When did what's going on with his avoid Ks? I don't remember it being that low, like ever. Guess it's not listed here. That's really strange though, right? Anyways, all right. What about like as a pitcher? Nothing's gone down there, right? Still looks okay. All right. Hopefully we weren't screwed with the torn tricep with Ohtani. It doesn't seem like an ideal injury. I think he injured it while pitching. So, again, not ideal. But it's on his right arm, which is his pitching arm. So, hey, we'll see what happens. Hopefully we don't have an albatross of a contract because of an arm injury. But anyways, but the guys who are here, let's talk about them. It opens up a spot in our starting right field, and it opens up a spot in our starting rotation. Meet the team. You know them. You know MJ Melendez, Nick Castellanos, Nick Lofton. Now you'll see here some using the bench a good bit. Like Correa is going to play every fourth game here. He's going to back up Witt, and Witt is going to play for at third base, and Witt is going to be playing at short like every 10 days. So Correa will get some starts there too. You can see Biggio's playing once every 7th day at first base, second base, left field, right field. So he's going to play, 4 times a week. What's that? 100 games maybe? I don't know. It's just kind of off the top of my head, I guess. Witt, Lopez, Hayes, Mondesi, Acosta, Devers. Now, Acosta's a lefty, Lutz is a righty, so they'll platoon. Against righties, Acosta will play. Against lefties, Lutz will play. And they'll switch in and out, and Acosta will get time over with Hayes. So the lineup goes Witt, Melendez, Castellanos, Devers. Man, like with Ohtani out, like we need the old Devers back. Because then it's a little iffier after that. Hayes, Mondesi, Acosta, Lofton, Lopez. We need the young guys to step up, them being Acosta and Lofton. We need them to establish themselves. We need Witt and Melendez, Castellanos. It leaves a big hole when you lose your best hitter, It's certainly a bummer. Lose your best hitter and you're like a mid-market team. We're not the Dodgers. So pitching side of things, this is what our rotation is for now. Singer, Lacey, Gray, Marsh, Sanchez. Gray and Marsh I both have as followers. I have Hall and Mayer in as the openers. And, hopefully, I don't know. Is there a way to pair like a specific guy with him? Because I've got Hall, lefty, Gray, a righty, Mayer, a righty, Sanchez, a lefty. I don't know if the computer will do that, AI will do that right or not. So in the bullpen, no big surprises. Klein, Murphy, Suriel, Jorge Juan. Hernandez makes it because of the Ohtani injury. Not a bad guy to be able to have step in here. Zerpa, who has been very solid for us at the Major League level, is in. And then Hall and Mayer. So going over, the 40-man is pretty interesting. I only have 34 guys on it right now. I have not looked at who's on waivers. But we've got a good amount of depth, I think. Alfredo Garcia had a really nice spring. He threw to a 2.65 ERA. He's had some major league experience, was pretty good in AAA last year. He's 25. I think that's nice depth. Same with Paulino, 26. Put up a 3.75 ERA in AAA last year, and he's a guy we can bring up. We've got McKinley Moore down there. If he can get his control in order, he could be a huge asset for us in the bullpen. And Seth Martinez is like a veteran. I mean, he's 30, but didn't make the squad. He has pitched about 35 innings per year for us last 2 years. Yeah, he's pissed he's on the minors, but hopefully he'll channel that. Michael Garcia is kind of like our backup utility guy in the minors right now. He was really bad last year after a decent 2023 between AAA and MLB. So his stock has fallen. But we've got Brooks Lee down there trying to do the thing, trying to get his prospect status, pedigree, trying to boost his value to be the next in line if Nick Lofton falters or if Correa falters. I think we might look to get him some experience at other positions, maybe like third base, left field, and right field. So that's good 40-man depth. We've got Eric Pena on the 40-man. He was just added because he's like a Rule 5 guy. I didn't want him to get swiped after he have a good year in A-ball. And then Brandon Lewis, it was kind of going to be him or Lutz making the team, and I went with Lutz because they're similar age. They've had similar track records. They've both had limited major league time and struggled during that. But I love Lewis's profile. His 65 home run power as a fly ball hitter, but Lutz is just a better defender. So that's the 40-man. We have a couple interesting guys down in AAA. I think the most interesting to me here is RJ Mayer, who could be our starting center fielder soon, I think. I drafted him in the 13th round in 2022, and he's not going to hit, but, like, he's going to be an amazing center fielder, which reminds me we need to set the game strategy and force start him at center field, because apparently I haven't done that before because he doesn't have any center field experience. So now we've got, so they just switched center and right field. Lewis is going to play at first base down there. I might kind of want him to play left field to get some more experience. Who would that? This would be knocking Cruz out. Yeah, I think to make Lewis more valuable, we want to start him out in left. Oops, no, not shortstop. Left field. So that put Paulino in at first base, and Cruz goes to DH. And then Brooks Lee, do we want to do anything with him at this point? Who's our third baseman? Blaze Alexander. We don't really care too much about him. Maybe we'll just leave it at this. We'll let those guys get some experience in this position, and once they've boosted their experience some, we'll go and force start Lee somewhere else rather than have like 3 guys learning new positions at once. We talked about most of the pitchers who are relevant here. Not too much more going on. Now, the farm system is number 1 in baseball, thanks to having the 1st, 2nd, 6th, and 15th best prospects in baseball. Now, you can see 3 of them are 17 and 1 of them is 18. A little young to be top 15, to be 1st, 2nd, and 6th at the age of 17. You can see this guy was a scouting discovery a little over a year ago in February of 2024, and his name is Gauthier Yep, I'm not going to do it. It's like Maglio Ordonez, but it's his last name. Margot. Yep, anyways. So he's Venezuelan and Italian, and he's the number 1 prospect in baseball. Now, for some reason, I didn't have him locked to the international complex, and the AI promoted him. I guess it's fine. He's going to be 18 when the season starts. And then we've got Jose Cardenas. He was an international free agent signing in 2023. He's in A-ball, and he's not going to be 18 for another like 3 weeks. But he hits so well in rookie ball that I just felt like I had to promote him. So he's quite young. Chris Escalera, he is the number 6 prospect in baseball, international free agent signing in 2024. He will not be 18 until next January. And then Jesus Cuevas, who was our international free agent signing in 2022. And he was okay in rookie ball last year. I'm going to have him repeat the level to start the season. And if the first month he comes out on fire, we'll promote him. We've got Eric Pena down there. He's a top 200 prospect. Some other international guys. This was a scouting discovery in 2024. First baseman looks good. Jan Urena, scouting discovery in May of 2024. So my scout is out there just killing it internationally. Victor Ruiz, and all these guys are young. Chances are a lot of them are going to flop. And I've got some draft picks here. Theo Gillen, 21st overall in 2024. Looks like an okay piece at this point. Purifi was the number 91 pick in 2023. So we've got some depth to the system, and I don't really trust these guys being so high at such a young age. There's just too much of a bust potential at their age to really count on this. I mean, sure, Gauthier here could be the greatest hitter in the history of baseball, but he could also be totally just a minor league depth piece within like 3 years, you know? So that's the squad. Some other storylines going into the season is we've got 2 more years of team control on Witt, and Manny's getting expensive. I don't really see any, advantage to locking him up at 14.3 for next year. He's looking at 16.2. what I'd love to do is, I feel like he's gone down some. He has. Whoa. So since, whoa. So when did this all happen? So in October of 2024, I didn't get a new scout, did I? I don't think I did. No, I've had the same scout. His contact dropped from 70 to 65. Power dropped 60 to 55. I dropped 45 to 40. Wow. And then, damn. And then in February, his contact dropped again from 65 to 60. Now his speed went up. So he's going to be fast out there. Or he's going to be stealing a lot, whatever it is. Wow. Okay. Well, that certainly gives me more pause to lock him up. I mean, he had a 131 WRC plus 2 years ago. Last year, he dipped to a 117, but still put up 4.9 WAR because of his defense. But that's concerning. That is concerning. I had not noticed that. Then we've got MJ Melendez for 3 more years. He's starting to get really expensive too. Now has he started to drop? Sure has. Actually, this isn't that uncommon for like the off season, right? I probably shouldn't. It sometimes happens in the off season. I feel like the guys just randomly drop. We're not gonna panic too much here, but if you want to panic, I say go for it. So MJ, I'm not gonna lock him up either right now. I think I've kind of missed the window. Oh, thank you, McAfee. I think I've kind of missed the window to lock them up cheap, and at this point, I don't see really much to gain, but there's plenty to lose. I think we're gonna be paying, market value for them, or pretty close to market value for them to keep them at this point, which we'll figure that out. We'll find room in the budget to keep both around as long as they're both worth keeping around. So that's what the team looks like going into 2025. We'll be back with an update on it. I don't think I'm missing anything else here that we need to do. So in the meantime, take care of yourselves. Take a look in the description of the video for the link if you want to donate to the charity to raise money for Parkinson's. And I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.